we need to put in all the necessary field before you can even come out to say you want to have a formula on your configuration. That means there must be kind of field you already have on what you've existing field that you're going to build your formula on, because formula cannot just exist on its own. There must be field that your formula is working with. It might be global one, it might be one that you just put in 2 or 3 fields together to make that formula. Apart from that, I've made mention of validation rule before now, that the validation rule is a tool in Salesforce that you use to impose data quality on Salesforce platform. Let's say, for instance, now, if your platform is so open and at the end of the day, somebody can just enter end date that is in the past. The end date for a project, let's say somebody is trying to put in, your end users is trying to enter some data that has to do with the project. Maybe by omission or advantage or inadvertently, that end users enter an end date that is the date in the past. It's not done. That is going to disrupt, that is going to break your report. You're not going to have a kind of report that one can, that your end users or stakeholders can make actionable judgment on, that can really give a kind of insights, that a project can really give. In order for you to not allow any form of a data that is not good or data that is full of error into your platform, what does that job for you? You need to employ validation rule. Validation rule will help you to impose data quality. Just take note of that. Data quality is what validation rule will help you to impose in your Salesforce platform. Even if you are importing a data into your Salesforce platform, validation rule will run on that particular import you are making. Maybe you are using data import wizard or data loader to load a file. The most file that you can load into Salesforce platform will be in form of CSV files. Now, if you have imported and you already have a validation rule on that particular object, the validation rule is going to run. If the validation rule say no, you cannot import that object because it negates or violates the validation rule you put in place. Let's say you kind of importing an end date into Salesforce platform and that end date is in the date in the past. Your validation rule is going to yell error to you that no, you cannot import an end date that is the date, a end date that is in the past. It's very important, because if you are doing a project, let's say you want to kickstart a project today now, and somebody is trying to enter the information or details about that project, definitely it's not going to be date in the past. But human being, we are all full of error. One way or the other, one can make a mistake. In order not to allow that mistake to get absorbed into your system, then you need to put in validation rule. Validation rule will help you to work on every form of data inputs that you put it on, or you just want to use it to guide against fraud. That is a way you can use validation rule to achieve all those things. So from this time on in this course, in this class, we'll be working on formulas, we'll be introducing formulas, validation rules, and we'll be seeing the impact. Whenever we want to make mistake, it's going to yell at us. Even right from now that we'll be working, you have been seeing some errors that will say you can't save. It's part of all those errors you see. In most cases, in most time, they happen to be validation rules. There are some also in a case of you having to deal with a required field. If you are trying to save a record that says you must enter a required field and you don't enter that required field, definitely you will not be able to save that record. We can categorize that one as required field of a thing. So those are the things you can use formulas, and the kind of formula formula is integrated in validation rule, is also integrated into the formula per se. So as we're treating our custom object, it will help us to build validation rule into our project. At the same time, it will help us to build formula. So the formula and the validation rule, I can say validation is an offshoot of formula, because there is no way, it's even intertwined. There is no way you build a validation rule, you will not engage formula as a tool for you to execute it successfully at the end of the day. And if you do any of the validation rule, any of the formula, if your synthesis, if there are errors or anything, it will stay, you'll be able to see where the error until you're able to put it in the right perspective. That is when you'll be able to save that record at the end of the day, or even build that custom field or check or validation rule check. So that's just the thing. Now there is one formula I say I want to get us the extension of what we build already. You know, the other time we'll say end date minus the close date will give us the number of days that our project has been on. Maybe if you minus it at the end of the day, if the start date for that project happened to be on the 10th, and the end date happened to be on the 10th, by the time you minus it, it's going to be 10 days that your project has been on. So I want to now enhance this further to say, if your end date, your days of project, the days that your project have been on is less than 10 days, then definitely your project should be should yell at, okay, it needed your attention, something has to be done. What is the stage of that project? And apart from that, we're going to do record type today. There are types we're going to put on our custom objects. Apart from putting a type into it, we're going to create different layout for different record type. The beauty of all this thing I'm trying to discuss is going to be more appreciated when we go diving into the production environment and able to demonstrate it for you. And at the end of the day, you see how interesting and how cool it's going to be for you as a Salesforce administrator to be able to build formula, to do validation rule, to give record type, to do layout, to create new layout, and do so many things that have not existed in the past. And another interesting thing we're going to build today as well, we're going to build parts. That part is going to act as a guidance in terms of a sales pipeline or processes that you follow to the end, whereby you say you completed a project or the project is being commissioned at the end of the day. Okay, let's just move in and dive in right now. Object manager, you know, I said it earlier, where you manage objects, where you add field, where you configure object, is always object manager. And where you build application is the app manager. So that's when they say Lightning App Builder, simply referring to the app manager, where you build application, and that application will be like a container that is going to house or that is going to absorb whatever object you build at the end of the day. Now let's just dive in and try to build our formula that's going to make us to use the advanced functions that we believe is going to help us in this learning objective in custom objects. Let me go to projects. Projects. Yes, we build so many fields on our projects. We can see we're able to build so many fields that they look at this. We all did all this. So that's a great thing. We are making good progress. Now, you see, when you want to build validation, when you want to, let me just do formula first. Later on, I will do validation check on the dates. I will do validation check on dates. You move to field and relationship, then you say new. From there, you say formula. You type you pick formula as the data type. You say next. From the formula I want to build now, it simply says if my project end date minus the start date is less than 10 days that project is going to close, then I want to draw the attention of the management to that particular project, or the the end users or the project manager to say something has to be done. I want to categorize that. Okay, if a project is going to close in less than 10 days, then the record should spit fire emoji that, oh, attention is needed on this project because it's going to be less than 10 days now that we're going to close on this project. Whoever is not doing his own part where it should take action and do something. But if we still have more than 10 days on the project, then it should show like green mark, or you can make it Nigerian flag on your own or something. So something just cool like that. And now, if you are building something like that, what is going to be the return data? What's the formula we return? Let's say project closing soon. Let's say closing soon. Closing soon. Yeah, let me put closing soon. Then what is going to be the formula return type? What is your formula going to return without my explanation? It's going to be test. Then I'm not going to, before now, we've not used this formula called formula called if. Now I'm saying that if my closing date, end date minus closing date is going to be less than 10 days, it should show fire emoji. But if it's greater than 10 days, it should show a green mark or something. That's what I'm trying to achieve now. Let me say I'm going to go to this is where you now use advanced formula. The advanced formula will give you more functions and different function categories that we have here. We haven't used any one here, so I'm going to use it for the first time. Category if. I'm looking for if. Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it somewhere here. Okay, this is if. There you click insert. Now this is insert. Now we're going to have we're going to have one logical test that is going to say if the project close date, if the project is closing sooner, that closing soon is 10 days. It's less than 10 days. Then value of true should give me fire. That is the true condition I set. Now, if that condition is not true, that means it's going to be more than 10 days before the project is going to expire. Then it should just give me a green light that everything is still good, no wala. But when something is showing fire, that means that thing need an attention. We use fire emoji when we are writing tests and all those stuff now. So it can relate danger, it can relate an attention. That is what I'm trying to, the kind of logic I'm trying to put into this. Then my first logical test is going to be, you go down here to write, let me go down here to write the first logical test, which is going to be, let me insert a field. The insert field now will be what? Project end date. Insert minus, I will go to insert operator, subtract the project, I will insert another field again, project close date, end date minus project start date. Wherever I have my project start date, let me put it in minus project start date. I insert. Then I can now insert operator to say end date minus start date less than or equal to 10 days. Let me put it like that. Less than or equal to let me see. Less than or equal to 10 days. Less than or equal to 10. That means anything from 10. This is this logic now, the logical test that I'm going to copy entirely. I'm going to copy it entirely. Then I delete it. Then I'll select this. I'll paste it on it. Oh, where did I get T? No, I shouldn't have T. Where is it copying that from? So it simply means, yeah. Then I'm going to say if end date minus start date for my project is less than 10 days. So if it's equal to or less than 10 days, that means that is the true value. That is the true value. The true value now should give me fire emoji. That means it needed an attention. Now, if I want to, I'm using MacBook. If I want to pull out emoji, it's going to be Control Command. You press it at the same time, then it's going to pull out. I pick fire. Then the quoted, I'm going to quote the expression because I'm bringing it into it. You know, if you have idea of coding, that is, you will easily understand. Hello?
For the benefit of those who are using other Windows, you know.
If those that are using Windows, do you know how to pull it out of Windows? I'm using Mac. I know for the one of Mac, I know how to pull it out. That's what I'm trying to pull. But those that are using Mac Windows, I think they should know how to pull out all these emoji signs and flag on their laptop. But if you do,
Mac is Command and
for Mac, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, the command control, you press control and command and space at the same time. But if you are using Windows, who can help us out? Those that are using Windows, how do you pull out this kind of emoji on your system?
I think Google will do that.
Okay, maybe somebody have to Google that and let us know, which is very important. We are all learning. Now I'm going to pull it out again to say Control Command. Okay. What I'm trying to achieve is that by the time I go to my opportunity report that I'm trying to enter, if I enter everything, and if the start date and end date is by the time I minus it, the difference is less than like 10 days or equal to 10 days, then it's going to show fire emoji. Then if it is greater, that means there is no trouble, no cause for alarm. It's going to show green. Let me check the syntax. If the syntax is correct, then that means our formula is okay. If it's not correct, yeah, no syntax error. If there is a syntax error, it's going to say syntax error, then indicate where the error is. Then at this point, there is no syntax error. I can now say everything is okay with my formula. Then I can progress and move to the next. You know, formula is always a read-only field in Salesforce. You know, it's going to be read-only feed to everyone. You can't do anything about it. It just appear. You can't edit it. You just read-only to both administrator or who. Even if you have anything to do with it, those are the front end and me. You know, the front end, your end users, if they need to, they can't edit formula on their, whenever they are doing whatever or they are inputting or trying to save the record that has to do with formula. They can't edit any formula field. But if there is any need for the for the organization or for YouTube, it's only administrator that can get that job done or a developer. Then you move to the say next. If you want to pick, the project layout is going to work for it. We're going to build two different more layouts for this our project today. I move to say, let me save now. Let's now next and move. Then, so let me just save. Let's go and demonstrate what we just built. After I save now, I can go back to the front end and search for sales. Then try to build a new project entirely and see what is going to happen. Projects. Okay. Let me save now. You see what is going to happen. We must have a feed. Can you see? Closing soon, showing a fire emoji here. Now, if I change it, I don't want to create another this thing. Let me just edit it now. Let me edit. Project date so that I can have. Let me just edit this one. Let me edit this one. Let's say it's still like 28. Then let me save. You know, it's going to show green mark now. You can see it's showing green mark. You can see now it's showing green mark. That means there is enough time for us to carry out this particular project. Alright, that's a wrap up for today's video. I hope you have picked up some valuable insights and actionable tips in Salesforce ecosystem. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumb up. If you found it helpful, I'm Asikola Oshirikan and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.